Welcome everyone to the Scheer Perspective, the first episode of the Scheer Perspective. And this section of my YouTube side is going to be where I fantasy book things, how I would have liked to see it. And the big topic of the day is the CM Punk angle, how I would have booked it differently. I actually booked this, I wrote this on a blog not too long ago, actually, right after CM Punk cut his first promo. I wrote this down, so you can go check that out for validity and stuff. But this is how I booked it. It's not at all what happened, and I'm not hating on what happened. I think what happened was good, but I think my way could have been a little bit better. I'd love to hear criticism, comments, compliments on it, whatever you guys think. But let's get into this. So, at Money in the Bank, here's how I would book this, and this is basically CM Punk's angle, an ROH invasion, and John Cena turning heel, all three into one, to start a, as you would say, new Attitude Era. So, Money in the Bank, John Cena loses clean CM Punk for the WWE title, which did happen. Leaves the next day with the title. They have a tournament, which sounds exactly like what actually happened, but instead the tournament runs all the way to SummerSlam. Now, at SummerSlam, it gets down to John Cena versus Alberto Del Rio, and Cena wins that. The next night on Raw, the Kings of Wrestling debut, Scheer and Claudio Castagnoli. Now, the next couple months, it doesn't really matter what happens. In the grand scheme of things, you have John Cena face a couple opponents at, Night of Champions and Hell in a Cell. And you have the Kings go on a tear and just completely beat everyone. They don't have to win the titles, and they just dominate everyone, and they prove they're the best tag team in the world right now in WWE. Now they come out and cut a promo. The pay-per-view before, I guess it's Vengeance now, whatever pay-per-view before Survivor Series, Vengeance, I think it is. They come out and they say how they're the best in the world and nobody can match them. John Cena comes out and begs to differ. He says, I can beat both of you guys. So he challenged them both to matches one-on-one. He beats them both in singles matches. And they say there's no way he can beat them as a team. And so, he needs to find a tag team partner. Evan Bourne comes out. Evan Bourne says, you know what, Cena, I'll be your tag team partner if you allow me a shot at your WWE title. And Cena accepts. During the match, Evan Bourne Swerve attacks John Cena, and the Kings beat him. The Kings beat Cena, and they're beating him down. Daniel Bryan comes down to make the save. Now, this is, going back to SummerSlam when Daniel Bryan helped him out and, was in the 7-on-7 tag team match. Daniel Bryan comes down and makes the save. And instead of making the save, he hits Cena over the head with a chair shot. And he gets on a mic and says that these people are the heart and soul of Ring of Honor, and they're here to take over the WWE. And Cena's left, battered and bloody and in shock over this. Next night on Raw, Cena comes out to address the crowd. And he's attacked again by all four of them. And then Bourne gets on the mic and says that he's number one contender to John Cena's title. And he will win the championship for its leader. And this leaves everyone, thinking, who's the leader going to be? This whole time, you don't have Punk on any TV. You can have Punk doing appearances, but you don't really have him really talk about WWE. He just does appearances because he wants to do appearances, not, to promote the WWE or anything like that. So, you're still left and no Punk's left. And the next night is pay-per-view. And Cena beats Punk with a chair shot to the head while the referee's back was turned, thanks to the Kings trying to interfere in the match. Bourne has to be stretchered out. They do a stretcher job because he gets hit in the head so hard. The next night, Cena comes out and talks about hitting him and injuring him, and he apologized to the fans for his actions, for what transpired. He's like, that's not the way I should do it. I shouldn't win like that. I shouldn't have done that. Kings come out and announce that at Survivor Series, next pay-per-view, they want a triple threat match against Cena for the WWE title, and Cena accepts, which harkens back to Survivor Series with, Cena versus DX. Now it's Cena versus Kings, Cena versus Tag Team again. Now, at the pay-per-view, Cena beats both Hero and Castagnoli. They try to team up on him. They both want to be champion, and Cena ends up beating him. He puts Castagnoli through a table on the outside, an announce table with the attitude adjustment, and then he chokes out Hero with a piece of rope in the STF. So he basically does the Umaga thing over again. And he just leaves him battered, leaves him injured. Again, the night after, he comes out and apologizes But he states that, you know, winning against Ring of Honor Invaders is best for what for the WWE and a company as a whole. Yeah, this is the best thing he could do. He doesn't want the Invaders, you know, to come in and take over the title. You know, he wants to keep WWE alive. He doesn't want them to lose this war. You know, and he's their front guy. McMahon comes out to congratulate Cena and says that, you know, they're both the Kings are on the shelf. You know, he put them on the shelf. He's injured Bourne. He injures the Kings. Cena says he didn't even want to hurt him. He didn't ever want to, you know, injure him that badly, and he didn't mean to do that. And he's sorry to the fans that had to happen, and it went that far. Daniel Bryan comes out and puts Vince in the bell lock during this time, and Cena runs up there to stop him, but Bryan lets go and he runs off. And the next pay-per-view is TLC, and John Cena says he's getting sick of this. He's getting sick of, you know, all the Ring of Honor guys trying to take over, and he wants to face Daniel Bryan at TLC, and Bryan accepts. And the match is a TLC match. Now, in this match, Cena just totally loses control. He just beats the crap out of Bryan. You know, the finish, he hits a super attitude adjustment through a stack of 2 tables, kind of like the Edge thing, except for off the top rope or something. Just however he needs to hit it, off the, you know, outside, whatever. And he doesn't go for the pin, so he just gets on top and just starts pummeling him until the ref calls for the match. Until the ref's like, you know, that's it, it's over. You know, Bryan can't defend himself. But he doesn't stop still, so people have to come out and grab him off of him. The next night, you know, Cena apologizes again and says he doesn't know what's gotten into him. He feels different, but he promises he's going to make it up to the fans. You know, he's going to make it up to his fans. He's a good guy. He's getting caught up in this angle, and he's getting caught up in Ring of Honor trying to take over, and, you know, the King's coming in, and Bourne and Bryan, who he thought were his friends, attacking him and creating a Ring of Honor invasion. You know, he was sick and tired of it, and he got rid of him, but he's going to make it better. He didn't mean to do that. He shouldn't have done all that stuff. The next week, they have a gauntlet match to determine the number 1 contender to Cena's title at the Royal Rumble. The entrants are, you know, 3 mid-carders. It doesn't really matter who they are. Bourne and Mysterio. And it gets down to Bourne and Mysterio, and they have a good, like, 15 minutes at the end to have just a crazy, wild, high-flying match. You know, Mysterio kicks out of the Shooting Star Press. Bourne kicks out of 619. You know, it's just great stuff. It's got the fans rocking. Eventually, Mysterio wins, which is an inside cradle out of nowhere. You know, so it looked like maybe a fluke win, but it was just such a great match that, you know, both of them came out looking like winners. And then Cena and Mysterio have the match at the Rumble. You know, Rey Mysterio is one of the biggest faces they have. I'd even say he's more a face of John Cena, because John Cena's the most controversial champion we've probably ever had. Mysterio usually always gets, you know, faces. So they're gonna root he's got the crowd in his favor. And, you know, Cena just beats the crap out of him. He blatantly cheats in front of the ref. He gets DQ'd, but, you know, he beats Mysterio so bad that he puts him on the shelf, and Mysterio can't have a rematch. You know, Mysterio blades, he has his mask torn off, you know, all this stuff. Just John Cena just lays into him. And then the next night, Cena comes out to address the crowd once again about his actions. And he starts to apologize, but then he stops himself. And he says he felt good taking out, you know, the little punk Mysterio, who's a fan favorite. He loved taking his mask off and exposing him, as well as making him bleed. You know, in fact, he threatens to leave the WWE with the title, so there would be no, you know, Cena versus Rock, which would piss off the fans even more. And, you know, he says he has no challengers for his belt. You know, he's just destroying everybody. And Vince comes out to say he doesn't have an opponent for Elimination Chamber. Instead, he has 5 of them. And it doesn't matter who they are, again, but one of them is Bryan and one of them is Evan Bourne. You know, again, you know, Bourne's returned from injury before, and Bryan returned. The other 3 are going to be faces. So it's Cena, Bryan, and Bourne versus 3 other faces that don't really matter. In this match, Cena basically gets the Goldberg push. You know, going through the Elimination Chamber, just destroying, dismantling every single person. He gets the pin on every one of them. He leaves them all bloody. You know, the next night, Owen John Cena in the ring, grinning. He's just sitting there smiling at himself. He says it was just too easy for him. You know, he destroyed 5 people's lives for the rest of their careers, but he doesn't care because he had fun doing it. You know, he loves seeing them all bleed because of him. He doesn't care about his fans anymore, or people, or anything. All he cares about is himself. That's all he cares for anymore. Not his wife, not his friends, no one else. This leads The Rock to come out. He says Cena shouldn't be like that to the people. He doesn't know what's gotten into Cena. You know, the fans are what he has. The fans are what made him. And, you know, he's turning his back on the fans. He's turning his back on everybody. He doesn't care about anybody. When, you know, if they didn't care about him in the first place, he would never be anything. And so The Rock says he will change Cena at WrestleMania. So we get to WrestleMania. We finally get to Rock Cena, which I would keep. They go for a good, you know, 10-15 minutes, exciting stuff. They hit all their big moves. It's a chaotically fast match. There's not a lot of rest holds, not a lot of, it's just balls to wall. And then Cena just realizes The Rock is better than him, and just this is when I just unloads on The Rock with steel chair shots, getting himself DQ'd. Kind of like the Austin Rock, harkening back to that, and gets himself DQ'd and just leaves The Rock with a bloody mess. He tears the ring apart, uses countless weapons on him, ladders, steel ring steps, announce tables, sledgehammers, and more. I want this to be like the new Nexus angle where they just destroyed everything. He just destroys everything in WrestleMania, just leaves a huge mark on it. Everyone just remembers John Cena destroying everything. The Rock may have won by DQ, but John Cena looks like the real winner in this. And the only scene is him just smiling happy at what he's done, just looking at is just the chaos he has created. And in the next couple months, Cena does the same thing to all the top big faces. And he fights Triple H. Triple H steps in. He ends Triple H's career. He makes The Undertaker finally rest in peace, ends his career. And all the while this is happening, the Ring of Honor Invasion is slowly picking up and getting wins on their own. And they're being helped by a man in a black cloak. You can't see who he is. He's coming out there and helping Bryan and the title and the tag team title. Then he gets a huge popularity for their tactics. They start to become famous. They start to become, so cool, being bad at this good. And on the lead up to SummerSlam, the ROH faction decides that they're going to set their sights on Cena again. They got destroyed last time. They have this new masked man. Nobody knows who he is. And once again, CM Punk is not to mention at all. Banner, Rollins, and they hint at it being people like that. And they set their sights on Cena, and they all get in the ring. They do one of the new Nexus things with Cena, except for he fights them all off because he's just gone crazy, and they all get in at one at a time, and he fights them all off. And the Masked Man gets in the ring, as Cena's fighting off the last guy, hitting the last attitude adjustment, and Cena turns around just in time to rip off the cloak and reveal a smiling CM Punk. The crowd goes nuts. Punk hits the go to sleep on Cena. Punk says he's their leader and he's the true WWE champion, and he has been for the past year. Cena's just defending a fake title, and he challenges Cena to a match at SummerSlam. A full year after everything started, even more than that. Money in the Bank is where it happened. So I think this would be a good way to turn Cena heel. I think you have to turn Cena heel slowly, and it would have to be over people that people would like, even if they're heels. People would like Daniel Bryan, people like Evan Bourne, people like the Kings. I wouldn't have Colt Cabana in this because I do not think WWE is going to sign Colt Cabana. I would be, I would be highly surprised if they do. So I didn't put them in there. Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of Colt Cabana. I didn't put Seth Rollins in there. If Caval was there, I would have put him in there. I love Loki. I think he would be great in the faction. But yeah, that's my thought process on this. Comments, compliments, criticism, whatever you want to bring, I want to hear it. I enjoyed this angle. I think the written version is better than maybe me talking, but I think this will get seen more. So go read it. I think it's a really good read. I think it's the best article on there I've done. So tell me what you think, and peace, guys.